Okay, I want to welcome everyone to our introductory session. This is more like our 5th batch for this very training program. And trust me, it's going to be a good session. Normally, we always ensure that we have a pre-introductory cohort, which is geared towards ensuring that everyone is being sensitized on how the program is being structured and how it's going to look like. So basically the program, it's on data analytics, and I'm just going to do a quick explanation because it's very important. Okay, so I will use my slide. I believe you can see my screen. I believe everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, sir. So the session is recorded because we are supposed to be up to 16 here, and others sent in their messages that they'll be looking forward to the recorded video. So that's one of the good feature about Zoom. All right. So right here on my screen, I believe you can see the next slide. Can you see the next slide? Let me zoom this.
Yes.
All right, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. So first of all, as far as the introduction is concerned, we cannot talk about data analytics without looking at what is data, first of all, because there is what is known as analytics. And as far as analytics, data analytics is concerned, there are a lot of terminology out there. You hear people talking about business intelligence, it's still data analytics. You might have heard people talk about data science, okay? These
Yeah.
are just closed terminologies used. You might have heard about data mining, still closed terminologies used. You might have heard about decision science. All these are same terminologies, okay? The only thing is that there are just some little differences, but however, they all have one goal. And what is that goal? That is where analytics comes in. It is that goal that it's the meaning of analytics, which is they all support the fact that you want to turn your data into useful insight. And that's what analytics is all about. As for data, you will all agree with me that data is everywhere. If you look around you, all you will see is data. Data is everywhere, okay? And the fact that it might not be having any meaning or it's not valuable at the moment is because it is in its raw form. Okay, so until that data that is in its raw form is transformed into information, that's when it becomes useful. But there is a particular question which I always point out to participants each time we carry out our program. And what is that question? It is a question which has to do with people who fail to ask, how does this transformation happen? How do we carry out that transformation, where we are talking about how we can actually transform our data, since we say data is everywhere. Now, how do we transform that data to give us meaningful information? How does this transformation happen, especially when you and me, for example, let's say we are writing all over or we are working on 200 million tweets. I can scroll down and navigate to our Twitter handle, Miramore Twitter handle, which is over here. And just imagine on this Twitter handle, okay, we are working on over 200 million tweets. Or let's say on our email address, we are working on over 200 billion emails. Or let's say on our Facebook page, okay, all these are data. On our Facebook page, we are working on 3 petabytes of data on Facebook. Or maybe we'll go to our search bar and we are searching for a lot of information. Okay, we want to search information like what's the best car and so on. Now, picture it. You're not the only one searching. The reason why, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, sir, can you hear me? I think a call
We
came
can
in.
hear you now. You break it some minutes ago.
Okay.
You
It
break
was a
some
call.
minutes ago.
It was a call that came in. That's right. All right. So let's picture it from those angles. Imagine today you say you want to search what's the best wristwatch to buy, what's the best car to buy, and you're not the only one searching this information. There are billions of persons, 3 billion persons at the same time who are also doing what? Searching for such information. Maybe we'll say, what's the best car? what is the best car? What is the best car at the moment? There are a lot of persons who are also doing what? Searching the same information. Or on your phone, we all use WhatsApp. Okay, on your phone, imagine you're also working with, let's say, 50 billion messages on WhatsApp, because it's not only you who is using that very WhatsApp, but all over the world, everyone are doing what? Using that WhatsApp every single day. And this is where data comes in. What makes it useful or relevant is the fact that it has been transformed. And how do you now transform that data? How do you make that data, which has no meaning, to become useful, which has no meaning to become relevant, which has no meaning to become valuable? That's the whole process of analytics. So analytics is all about you turning your data into useful insight. So for everyone who is enrolling for this training program, we want to appreciate you. And this is what you should be looking into. This is what you should be looking out for, because by the end of our training session, you will be able to turn your data into powerful or into useful or meaningful insight. And it's very important for me to mention here that we are all involved in one business or the other. There's nobody that will say he or she is not involved in a particular business or the other. We are all involved. And of course, if I ask a question, what's your expectation for your business? What's your plan for your business? Of course, everyone out there wants to grow or improve his or her business. And this is just the reality, which is very important. For example, let's say you are working, or you own a loan, a mini bank, let's say a loan company or a savings company business, and you want to be able to do some analysis. Maybe you issue out loan to some persons, and you want to know, among these listed persons, these listed customers that have given loan to, that have given business loan to, who is most likely to default on this loan? Who is most likely not to be able to, in terms of commitment, to pay back? You can actually run those analyses. You can actually do that. And that's the whole aim of this very aspect, helping you to be able to get those meaningful information which will help you. Also, you might let's say you are running a kind of a TV subscription business, and you also want to use this to know who are those clients who might be returning clients who would want to subscribe to this station from your company, and so on. So these are just examples of how you can use data, and you being able to do what? To turn this data into useful insight. That's a very good role where data analytics or analytics itself comes to play. So analytics is just all about turning the data, which I said is everywhere and is on raw form, into useful insight. Now, there are three types of analytics. Okay, there are three types of analytics. We have the descriptive analytics, we have the predictive analytics, we have the prescriptive analytics. Remember, I've told you the terminologies that you will see out there, things like data science, data mining, and I said they all have same goal, whether it's data science, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there are just little differences. They all target same purpose. Okay, now for descriptive analytics, when you are involved in descriptive analytics, what you're looking at is the past. You want to know what happened in the past. Okay, for example, in your company, maybe you want to run a kind of analytics to know what should be your future expectation and so on. If you're looking at future purpose, that is predictive analytics. Predictive analytics looks into the future. What might happen tomorrow? What might happen next year? What might happen in 2 years' time? You might have been hearing things like forecasting and other kind of planning arrangements. All that has to do with predictive analytics. Then prescriptive analytics has to do with what should we do? Now we have seen, we have analyzed, and we have known what we should be expecting next year. Okay. Now, what should we do? What's the action should we put in place, and how should that be? So those are just the three types of analytics. And in part of this training, you'll be guided on all that. And also we have the life cycle of analytics, which is also very important for you to take note of. Okay. So for the life cycle, I believe you can see from my slide here for the life cycle of analytics, which is very important for you to take note of. Okay, we have the aspect which has to do with business understanding. So this is very important because there is no way you will understand or be an expert-led user of data analytics without you looking into this life cycle. So this is what should guide you whenever you're working with data. This should what you should put at the back of your mind, because it's very important. So don't forget about that of the different types of analytics. Like I said, this is also very important in the training. We'll always ensure that we guide you. And some little examples concerning this, because time to time participants ask that we should elaborate more on descriptive analytics when I say it looks into the past. Okay, so examples I can give you on this aspect of descriptive analytics, since I say that it looks into, it is that analytics that looks into the past. Okay, what have happened before? What have happened before? So for example, let's say we are running a particular business. Okay, let's say a supermarket business. It's a white supermarket, and we want to know what were our sales before, or what product was more popular in the past before, 2 years ago. What product was most popular? What was our market share 3 years ago? What was our sales last year? All that has to do with the descriptive analytics. So I believe that very example is a good one. For the predictive analytics, an example I can give you, and also the prescriptive, okay, like I said, the predictive looks into the future, what might happen in the future, what might happen tomorrow, okay? And it's very important that you put that into consideration before looking at the life cycle. You should understand these very concepts. From tomorrow, we might not emphasize on this anymore. We'll just proceed immediately with the popular tools, which aids you in terms of performing those tasks, which is very important. So for the predictive, you should have in mind, what are the expected sales? Because if, for example, we are looking at that case study of the supermarket, and we say we want to run an analysis for to see the future perspective, definitely we should be looking at this point, what are the expected sales? What sales should we be expecting? The turnout. What is the expected market share? For example, descriptive, we said what were our sales before now. Predictive and prescriptive, we'll now be saying what are the expected sales. We talked about, and in descriptive analytics, that we are looking at what product was most popular. When it now comes over here to predictive, what we will be looking at is what product should we market to the customers, not what was most popular, because we have looked into, maybe we found out that Milo was most popular. Now we will be running analysis to know what product at this point should we now market to those customers. So this is very important for you to take note of. So when you have this understanding, you can now proceed, because this is more like a step-by-step guide. You now have to proceed immediately to those life cycles. Okay. Now we know what a cycle is. We know what a cycle is. It's more like a framework that guides you. And this is one of the easier way you can be able to understand, or you can be an expert-led data analyst, which is very important. Now you can see here we have it being broken down, where we have our CRISPDM, okay, which you can call HDM. Now the CRISP here that you have, the C just stands for cross, the CRO stands for cross, the I stands for industry, the S stands for standard, the P stands for process, then the DM stands for data mining. And I told you data mining is one of those terminologies you should be expecting out there. So this is just cross-industry standard process for data mining. And this is what makes up that very, this is what makes up the very life cycle, which you should ensure that you follow. Okay, so we have the business understanding section. So you must be able, when you are working here with your data analytics, you must ensure that you start with business understanding. I started by saying that every one of us is involved in business in one way or the other. We want to grow, we want to improve our business, we want our business to increase. Okay, so in that note, when you are running an analysis, or maybe you want to start such career in that line, you must ensure that you start by understanding the business. Understand the business. Define the business problem. What is the problem the business wants to solve? Secondly, understand the data. You have to identify those data that are available. and also the gaps in the data. Maybe there are data that are not available. This is part of what you should be able to do. Thirdly, you have to look into how you can prepare the data. And all these tools falls into this life cycles aspect. And this is where data cleaning, preparing the data also comes into play. You'll see all this in the training program because we'll be using these tools, okay, which is very important. Modeling, you then look into the modeling aspect because you need to be able to build predictive models. Models has to do with relationship between different data, between different variables. Then you move to the next flow, which has to do with the evaluation aspect, because one thing is for you to create those relationships, to understand how to build predictive models. The next thing you need to do is how do you, we have 10 minutes more to go. How do you evaluate how those models perform? It's very important. Those models need to perform effectively, because if it doesn't perform effectively, then of course you should know that your outcome is very important. Then you look into the aspect of deployment. This is where you start using the choosing model. I believe everyone can hear me. So this is the life cycle of analytics. And I told you analytics is just all about turning this data into what? Meaningful business insight. So here at Miramore Consulting, we guide you to ensure that you understand this. So I'm going to take this again. Like I said, that before ever you kickstart a data analytics career, you should always start with business problems. Always start with business problems. Very important. Very important. Always make sure you start with business problems. There must be a problem you want to start with. And that's why I talked about business understanding. Now, when I'm emphasizing on the need for you to start with business problems, what I'm trying to point out here is problems like maybe you run a business and you're having problem with sales, with turnout of your revenue. Okay, let me not even use sales, so it should not be as if it's targeted to the business line. Okay, so let's say you run a particular business and it's part of your idea. You want to see how will this business yield more revenue for me? How do I make it in this very business? Okay, that becomes a problem. So you must understand the problem, because at that point, you have a problem. And what is that problem that you have? The problem that you have is that your business is not yielding enough revenue as you expected. It's not yielding enough revenue as you have expected it to do. So the life cycle of data analytics begins with you doing what? Defining business problem. So that's a good example you should have in mind, because in as much as we proceed in this program, you will get to see all this. Please, at Salisu, I don't know if the background noise is coming from you. Can you help us, please? Can you mute yourself? Thank you. All right, thank you. Can you just mute yourself, please? The background, or if it's coming from another end, can you just help us out there to mute yourself? All right, thank you. So understanding the business problem is very important. It's very important. It fits into, you could be working in an institution. What are those problems within that institution? What are those problems within that organization? It's very important that you understand it. For example, we talked about a supermarket. Maybe you're running such kind of business and you want to look in for ways on how you can boost your revenue. Okay, so at that point, you now understood that problem. Maybe you have different customers, range of customers, and you know customers most times are just the people who pay us, okay, who we render services to. Okay, maybe you run a logistics kind of business and your customers, you don't know how you can tailor your product to those different customers. That becomes a problem, and at that point you understood how you will be able to come up with that. And following what we said here, the three types of analytics, which I said we have the descriptive analytics, what happened in the past. You have to bring that in, because you can't run analytics without looking at the descriptive aspect. You can't run an analytics without looking at the predictive aspect. What might happen if we go with this plan A or plan B? Okay, and you can look at also the prescriptive analytics, which is what action should we put on ground. So you must ensure that you also pinpoint those bottlenecks and those points that are not really working. And this is just the aspect where you understand your business comes to be. So you must ensure that you understand that perfectly. Then I talked about data understanding. Data understanding. You need to understand your data in what sense? What do I mean by that? Okay, for those of you who just joined, the video will be sent tonight, so you can watch from beginning. Okay, how do you understand your data? I said identify the data. Now, how? You look at it, is the data available? If it is available, what's the quality of this data? Remember, we said that data is everywhere. We said that data is everywhere. And you must understand those different data because it's very important. I have told you the question people fail to ask, the transformation process of this data towards ensuring that they give us meaningful information. Okay, so data preparing, like I said, is also another important one. I have my Excel sheet here, and we can come here to say, oh, we want to prepare our data. Maybe while we are preparing our data, we have a lot of information. You know, all these are different processes of ensuring that our data is prepared. And for example, you can see right here, I'm going to use this part of our advanced Excel course, and I can come up with some automation, which is very important. Most of us know how to use the VLOOKUP, which can be used. For example, we might have big data sets here, and we say we want to run analysis to know what country Real Sociedad falls under. Okay, imagine we have up to 5,000 club lists here for the Europa League session. All I have to do, I am to come over here. I say team. I move over. I say Europa League. Europa League. These are Europa League. Okay, now the question in this, we are talking about data preparation. I want to prepare this data for presentation perfectly using Excel. This is not SQL, this is not a difficult one. Now I will use a particular tool called the VLOOKUP. Okay, now the VLOOKUP has a simple formula which says VLOOKUP. This is it, VLOOKUP. Okay, to always ask you what is the lookup value. The lookup value is the unique identifier. It's what you're looking for. It's what you're looking for. We have the table array. The table array stands for the table, the data table, the data set. Okay, we have the column number. The column in which the result you're looking for is where it is. Okay, then we have the two ranges, which could be the final argument, which is either false or true. But you'll get to understand this better when we proceed in the very classes. Please, I think I'm going to mute some of you. Some persons, the background noise is disturbing, and we just have 2 minutes to go. We have 2 minutes to go. So I don't know. Please, the person should help us. The person should help us, please. Okay, I'm muting. Okay, I think that was from our brother. Okay, I think I've muted. All right. So now I'm going to use the VLOOKUP. Imagine we have a lot of teams, and you're told that, please, can I know which country Feyenoord is? Or can I know how many games Real Sociedad have played? That means, yeah, we just come here and put games played, because that's what I'm looking for at that point. I say games played. So using the VLOOKUP, first of all, I will advise you to do what we call range naming. So I will just come here and name this range. I'll come here and highlight this range, and I'm going to rename it, okay? I'm going to name this range, and that's how you copy all your set of data. And I come here and I call it match details, or I just say match. Then I say enter. I've just named that range. So what do? I come here, I say equal to VLOOKUP. These are VLOOKUP. So I say VLOOKUP. The lookup value have to be captured. So on that team, what's the club we are looking for? We said we are looking for Real Sociedad. So we say Real Sociedad. From our long list, that's big data. We are looking for Real Sociedad. We want to know the games they have played. So I'll come on that games played column and say equal to VLOOKUP. So when I say that the lookup value is a unique identifier, what you're looking for, with them the unique identifier which you want to use to identify what you're looking for. What is that? We say Real Sociedad. We are looking for the number of games Real Sociedad have played. So that becomes the subject, which is Real Sociedad. That becomes our lookup value. So I'm going to select Real Sociedad. Now, when I do that, we are going to lock this using the third mixed referencing style. In the class, you understand what we mean by this. So I'm going to say comma. Now for the table array, normally data analysts will always go and copy. Instead of wasting that time, just click on F3. It will bring out this. You will see that match that we have already run already. So I'm going to do what? Select it. Okay. So please stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm going to send you a new link so everyone will connect so we can continue the class. The time for the first session is out, and trust God is making more sense. So if you're enjoying it, please stay tuned so you can reconnect. Check the group. I will drop a new link. Thank you. All right, so this is continuation of where we stopped. Now, what we are trying to do here is on data preparation. Remember, we are looking at the life cycle, and I said that part of the life cycle is data preparation. That after you've understood your business problem, okay, which you've defined your business problem, then you've also understood the data. Is the data available? Okay, what's the quality of this available data? Okay, after you have gone through these various steps, which you can say step 1, step 2, what is the step 3? I said it is data preparation. That for you to be a good data analyst, you must be able to clean and prepare your data. The example I'm using here is for preparation of your data, and I'm just going to use 2 key examples to do that. Okay, remember this meeting is going to end by sharp 9 because after this I have another class by sharp 9. Okay, so what happens here is this. We want to know, because where data analytics comes in, it's where you're having large data sets. Okay, we don't want you to be wasting time doing irrelevant things that you're not supposed to do, that maybe Excel as one of the common tool will help you to take care of. So the VLOOKUP helps you when you're working with large set of data to pick up the particular value you're looking for, to sort it out. We said we are told what is Real Sociedad's number of games they have played in Europa League. Okay, I am a Manchester United fan, but I'm talking about Real Sociedad here. So all I have to do is to bring in equal to, I say VLOOKUP. I use my shift key. And you can see it's asking me for the lookup value. There must be a lookup value, a unique identifier, which you want to look for. So we are looking for games played for which team? Real Sociedad. So I have already typed the team here. We type it, you type the team that you're looking for there. Okay, you've typed it there. So you select it. So when you select it, you will lock it using F4. We have what we call mixed referencing. In the class, you'll be taught. Okay, so this is just an introductory session. So I'm now going to use my comma separator. Then we are asked the table array. Remember, I showed you how to name your range naming. Instead of going to now go and select all the table, which most times might scatter your work. Okay, instead of that, since we have already named this range, we'll give it a name. We call it match. So what do we do to bring out that name, the automation? We say F3. When I say F3, it brings up this for me, this paste name box. You can see match. So all I have to do is to click on match and say what? Okay, because that's the file. And you see that it highlighted the data set that we have already done what? Okay, sorry for that. Sorry for that breakdown. Sorry for that breakdown. It's from network. Okay, so I'm going to continue from there. All right, so I believe everyone can see my screen now. Please, can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, just give me a yes. So,
Yes.
okay, sir. So we have 4 minutes to go. All right, so the match we automated, that's how we have to select the match. So I'm going to take this again. I say equal to VLOOKUP, okay? And we say the lookup value is a unique identifier that we are looking that game's played for. We say this Real Sociedad. So I select that and I lock it with the mixed referencing style. And I say, comma, the table array, instead of going to select the table, to highlight the table, I will just bring in our automated feature. We know we automated it. I will just bring in the automated feature. So what do? I say F3. F3 is going to bring. So we have a lot of powerful automated features. We have F5. I'm going to show you F5 in maybe in the course of the training program. And this is more reason why you should register for this training here in Miramore Consulting, because we break everything down. We ensure that you get to understand all you need to be a data analyst, an expert for that matter. So right here, what am I going to do? Okay, right here, I'm going to select it since you have already automated it. I'm going to select match and then I say, okay. So when I say, okay, what do? I will just say, comma. I don't have to lock this fully. If it's some data analysts that have met, if they are highlighting, they will be locking. You must not lock everything fully every time using your referencing, your absolute referencing. I don't really, I prefer this is the best. This is the best, trust me. So you use your comma separator. Okay, so when you use your comma separator, normally VLOOKUP works with column. Now it's left for you, the data analyst. These games played, you want to look for in which column, what's the column number that it is. So you have to count from the first column that your data set started from. It started from column A. So I have to count 1, column B is 2, column C is 3, column D is 4, column E is 5. Now games played is under which column? Is under which column? Games played is under column D. And if you have counted from column A, 1, 2, 3, 4, you see that column D is in what? 4. So imagine you have 5,000 datas all over here. This VLOOKUP helps you to extract what you're looking for because already you know the team they asked you to look for. They called you on phone. Look for Real Sociedad. How many games have they played? Okay, I'm not a Real Sociedad fan, like I told you. Okay, so what do you do now? Since games played falls under this column, that's what contains all the number of games played. I'll just say column 4 because that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I say 4. So when I say 4, I will then use my comma. So all this process I'm doing is data preparation. I will show you another method of data preparation. I'm not going to use Tableau tonight. I'm not going to use SQL. I don't want to confuse some of you. I am aware some of you are conversant with this, but one more advanced aspect. But as we proceed, you get to see that. Now, we always have two final arguments, true or false. Do you want Excel? Do you want Excel?
Yeah.
Do you want Excel to give you the exact correct answer, the exact number of game you're looking for? If you want it, it's false, exact match. This is just like indirectly false, exact match. If you want Excel to something closer, maybe not true, you use but we want the exact correct answer. And if you look in here to this short data set, you will notice something. What do you notice? You notice that for Real Sociedad, they have actually played 15 games. But let's say we have all clubs here and you want to know, it will take you time to go and be scrolling. So with VLOOKUP now is going to bring up these 15 under these games played. How do we know? How do we do that? Right here, we have column. We say the column games fall under is column 4. So what am I going to do? I'm going to select false. Then I say bracket close and I say enter. So ladies and gentlemen, when I say enter, what did you see? VLOOKUP extracted the number of games that have been played. That actually at the moment, 15 games. Real Sociedad have played what? 15 games. Now what if you also received a call or based on the analysis you're running, you received a particular call that, please, sir, can you tell us how many games Arsenal have played? You just have to come to team, type in Arsenal. Now, in most cases, you may be thinking you go and run it again. You go and run equal to VLOOKUP again. No, as a member of this training class here in Miramore, we automate everything, okay? So I just have to drag this down and it shows me 11 games. You can now go to your sheet to confirm. You see the Arsenal have actually played 11 games. If I want to know how many games have Manchester United played, I just have to come here under team. I say Manchester United. That's my club. So when I say Manchester United, I know Arsenal fans, your seniors, okay? So when I say Manchester United, what do I do also? I can hit on this, okay? And it brings it down for me. What? 13 games Manchester United have played at the moment. So ladies and gentlemen, this is just a tip on the aspect of data preparation as one of the life cycle as far as analytics is concerned. You must know how to prepare your data. It's very important. You must know how to clean your data. Now, how do you clean your data? Okay, I wanted to navigate to Tableau or to Power BI or to SQL, but I will not do that because of our time is almost up. Okay, our time is almost up. I've just been there for an extension. All right. So now, how do you clean your data? Let's say, for example, you received a call that, please, we don't want, let's say we received a call and the call says that we don't want Europa League. The call says that we want games played and points end to be together. I believe you can hear me. We want games played column and points end column to be together. Excel cannot match that for you. Excel cannot match that for you. But for those of you who might be using the latest version of Excel, we have a formula we call the text join. The text join. You can use that formula to join, but it's not useful from the previous years backward. Okay. But when you want to do your merging, that means you want to merge columns. That's also part of data cleaning. Okay. So as an analyst, one of the life cycle is data preparation. You must be able to clean your data. Now, if I'm told to do this, Excel cannot do this. So what do? I'm going to use an advanced Excel add-on feature we call the Power Query. Many of you have heard of the Power Query. We have the Power Query, we have the Power Pivot. Now, what do? Okay, I only have to scroll down to the data tab from the home bar. Okay, then I come to where we have query. See the query section here. So now the query you want to run is from this table, right? Oh yes, it's from this table. So definitely I have to highlight and make sure, let me first of all ensure that this is already on a table format. And you can use your Control-T. If you want to put this on a table, you click on your OK, and you see we already have it on a table. So right here, I go to my data tab, I come to from table, run my queries from table, because the instruction given or what I want to do as an analyst, I only want to merge the games played column and the points ends column, okay, as part of cleaning. So I am going to say, okay, based on this. So I'm going to select that very table over here, create table. I say, this is it, and I say enter, and I say enter. So we are told that the table overlaps. So what I'm going to do is this. Let me remove this very once. I believe you have understood this aspect of the VLOOKUP. So I'm going to delete this very section here. I'm going to delete this very section quickly. Okay. I'm going to delete this very section. I can also decide to put all borders. All right. So now what I'm going to do also for this, where we have our column here, I can also decide to delete that. Okay, let me undo this. And okay, so let's go back to our query. Let's go back to our query. We say data from table. Okay, from table. So you can see that we are trying to clean this data. What is one of the tasks we want to do? We want to see how we can actually merge Europa League column and games played column. So when it brings me to the Power Query editor dashboard, I can then click on these columns that I want to merge. So I can say I want to merge this column and this column. Okay, the Europa League. Okay, no. I say, okay, the question was the games played, number of games played and points ends together. So when I have taken I held my control and I selected, I can right click and come to where we have merge columns. So when I click on merge columns, because Excel cannot do this for you, Excel can only do text join when you're trying to join text. Okay, so you use the Power Query to do this. So I can come here. How do I want to separate it? Do I need a comma to separate both of them? Maybe they said use an equal to sign, or use a space, or use a colon. I can say use colon for me. Then what do I want to call both of them? Since they were games played and points end, I can say, okay, let the new name be game statistics. Okay, match statistics. I can say let the new name be match statistics. And I say okay. So you can see that what happened. Power Query have meshed those two columns to one, where you can see games played and points end are now in one column. You can see the games played are 12 for Feyenoord, 13 for Manchester United, 11 for Arsenal. You can see the points they have had end with the separator, which is the column. So what do I do here? Now, if you look at the query section, it gives the historical data for you. If, for example, you want to go back to view what was the data before you cleaned it, this is one of the process of cleaning. Before you cleaned it, there are a lot of things you can do with cleaning. Okay, in the training, you get to understand that perfectly. Now, this is part of the cleaning. Now, if you want to go back to see how it was before, maybe for one or two reasons you want to get to see it, you just have to click on change type. You will see the historical data. So Power Query Editor is always with Excel, okay? So it always takes you back. It maintains the historical data, the previous data, and it also maintains the new data, So you can see them right here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I believe you can see my screen. So what happens now is this. This is what we have meshed. Okay, as an analyst, you have to go back. You click on close and load, close and load, close and load. Now, when you click on close and load, you're going to notice something. The Power Query is going to bring that data back for you the way it is supposed to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that this is just part of the data preparation methods. There are a lot of tools out there which you will see as far as this program is concerned, and that's one should give it a good shot on how you can actually training. And then for those of you who have registered, this a tip is you should be expecting in this very class and in this very program. So right here you can see our team, to our fair node, and which I can come and format my data. I can come down to borders, okay, and I say, let me format this data. Maybe we are Europa League. I can click on this and also like format it this way. Then I put in a column. I fill in a particular color and I say bold, bold, bold. Okay. Now, also part of data cleaning. If you all can look at my screen, you will notice that Europa League is not showing completely. Who noticed it? Europa League entered the next column, which is column D. Okay. It entered the next column, which is column D. Now, what do you do at this point when it is in column D? One other way you can clean your data is to expand the column. So I see data analysts will now go and expand the column. That's wrong. You're wasting time. Just highlight everything. You can click on Alt HOI on your keyboard and it will do what? It will fit in the whole data into the data set for you. If you don't want to do that, each time you're working with long range of data and you see them intersecting, like if I type a data here, you can see point end is not showing fully. All I have to do also, I can highlight everything, or I use my Control A. I highlight everything. Then I double click on any of this line. It's going to arrange all for me. It's going to fit in all for me. It's going to fit in everything. If you just do the expansion complete, because if, for example, let's say this was like this was closed, too close, and it's not showing the league. Let's say this part too was also like this, not showing the points end. You know, it can, things like this confuses people, okay? And you're working with large set of data, big data set, okay? Now, what it means at that point is that means you now first of all come here and expand. You now also go here and expand. You're wasting time. And as a data analyst, should not be wasting time because no organization wants someone who will be wasting time. And you yourself should be doing something in an easier way. I've seen data analysts waste time and it's not a good one. So for you to complete all expansion everywhere, just highlight, use your Alt HOI alphabet, or you double click on any line. It will fill in everything immediately. And you can see both the gains points column and every other column is now filled in perfectly. I can format this other team line, format it to the same standard, the same way I want to format it. So I believe, hello, can you all hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
So I believe this is making sense because I am supposed to
We
be
can
rounding.
we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
I'm supposed to be rounding up because of other classes that we have. So this way we are just preparing this. This is the process too. Still on data preparation, one of the life cycle, which is very important. Also, let me also address another issue. I've seen data analysts struggle with this. Let's say you have this information down up to row 1000, and you notice that the data set have spaces all over, and you have to, you're told to go and close all the rows. Maybe we have, let me insert, maybe we have, you can see there's a blank row. There's a blank row between. There's a blank row. Let's say we have another blank row here too between. Now, let's say all over you're having blank rows, and this will disturb you when you're trying to carry out some analysis. It's going to disturb you. So how do you close this row? Imagine you have up to 15,000 rows and you're having blank rows all over. Okay. I have seen a data analyst wasting time doing something that is so annoying to me. What was he doing? He was now coming one after the other. He comes here and he says delete. Okay. Of course, if you delete, it will go, but that is not good. It's bad. If you delete, it will go. So is that how you'll be deleting? You scroll down, delete, scroll down, delete. Is that how you'll be doing for the rest of the day? You're wasting time. But instead, when you have such situation, because the rows is all over, you're going to use an automated function we call F5. Sometimes a lot of you see those functions on your keyboard, but you don't know the usefulness. You use the F5. What do? I just have to highlight every information that I have. After highlighting it, what do I do? Okay, I highlight everything. I click on my F5. When I click on my F5, it's going to bring this box. This match was what we recorded for that of our VLOOKUP. But now we are not looking at VLOOKUP. We want Excel to close all the rows immediately, all the rows everywhere in the sheet immediately in the cell. If you want to Control A, whatever way you want to do that. So all I have to do at this point, I will click on this special below. When I click on special, it brings this for me. I'll go to blanks. I believe you can all see blanks. I'll go to blanks. When I reach blanks, I'm now going to click OK. When I click OK, Excel on its own is going to select all where there are blank spaces, whether it's column or row, it will select all. You can see it selected this. This is highlighted when we clicked on it. Now, how do I remove all of them immediately? How do I automate all of them to go out immediately? All I have to do is to click on Control minus. And you see, if that's how to remove everything. Maybe you don't really understand this well. Let me go and insert. Let me say I'm inserting another one. Let me say we also have another space here. Okay, so imagine this. That means to close these gaps, you now come here first and delete, come here and delete, come here and delete, come here and delete, which is bad. So let me also change this within to white. Let me change it to white. Let me remove the data. Format your data. You format your data here. You format your data here. Okay, you can format your data over here. We have the format data option here. So you can format your data over there. So, okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Now, moving forward, we have this row empty. We have this row empty. We have this row empty. Now, I don't want you to go through this class and be wasting time coming to delete. Just highlight it. Highlight it. Highlight it. Highlight all your data using Control Shift. Click on the first, then Control Shift. Come down. Okay. Control Shift. Come down. And you, it will take you immediately. Then what do? Since you want to close all the empty rows, you say what? You say F5. F5 brings you to click on special. You click on blanks. I want my special to be automated for blanks, all blanks, spaces. You click OK. Now you say Control minus. When you say Control minus, what happens? It fills it in. It removes all the blank rows for you. Is this not wonderful? Is this not wonderful? So one of the things you're going to learn and you should be looking out for is automation. Automation helps you. I've seen data analysts also make mistake. We are still on data preparation. I've seen analysts make mistake of this serial number, as low as serial number. A lot of us make this mistake. Now, what mistake am I talking about? Let's say we are operating a business, and in this business that we're operating, give me a minute. Let me reply to a question from one of our training group that I'm supposed to be teaching now. Please let them give me some minutes. Give me some more minutes. Give me some minutes. Give me some minutes. Give me some minutes. Creating. Okay. So I believe this is making sense. All right. So serial number automation. This is the last example I will just pinpoint out here. So for the serial number automation, okay, let's say we have books. Okay, list of books that we have. List of books. Okay, maybe this is a list. This is a list. List of books. Okay, we run a school, and then these are a list of books in our bookstore. Now, of course, we have from number one, from book one, we have English book, we have maths book, we have our English book, we have our maths book, we have our science book, okay? We have our arts book, okay? We have our business book, okay? We have our business book, we have our engineering book, okay? Now you can picture this into whatever you're working on. So here, of course, you know, you will drag it down, okay? And then click here to fill series. Good, but now there is a problem. I believe everyone can see my screen. Please, everyone, look in here. Look in here. We have started. Okay. So now you can see right here that we have our serial number. That's quite all right. Now, what if I come and delete maths? Maybe we are told that we don't need maths book anymore. Okay, that we don't have maths book again. Delete it. You now come, you click and delete. You notice what? That the serial number does not change. The serial number jumps from 1 to 3. If we say let us delete business book, we delete arts. Okay, we say let us delete art. The school does not offer arts course anymore. Delete arts book, or maybe these are list of courses. Okay, list of courses in the university. Okay, if we say let's delete that of business and we say delete, the number is still there. And it's not supposed to be like this because there are some analysis you will run. This number here will cause a problem for you because you're expecting it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You may be thinking, you tell somebody, okay, check number 2. The person is checking and number 2 is not there. So this, it can be solved when you use our automated system pattern here in our class in Miramore. Now, how do you do this? How do you automate this to ensure that you solve this problem? So that each time you delete, it should update itself. The number should update itself immediately and not giving you these blank spaces. Ladies and gentlemen, all I will do, I will just come and clean this serial. So each time I'm now working on my serial, I want to put serial numbers. I'll automate it first. Okay. So what do? You come here, you say equal to, you say roll. There's a function we call roll. A lot of persons don't know. You say roll, bracket open, you say bracket close minus, you say roll. You say roll. There's one of our students, one of our last session, I showed this, and this was part of what he used to get, his approval where he was working. So this is very important. So you say roll. Then this is going to ask you for a reference. Now, what is going to be the reference? It's going to be the unique identifier, which is the serial number here. So when I do that, I bracket close. I will then say what? Enter. So when I say enter now, what am I going to do? Okay, I can decide to just push this angry rabbit to fill in every information for me, which I can come here and say, or flash fill, depending on what I want. But now the fact remains this. Now, if I come here, since I've run this already, I can come here and say this is 2. Okay. And I can also come and say this is 3, depending on what I want. I say fill series. So let me just fill this over here. Give me a minute. Let me remove this here. So let me clear this first of all. Okay, so this is the information we have over here.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So I can also decide to take it back, but let's work with this. So now, taking this backward, I say that is our role. Use this function role. You say bracket close minus role. You want to automate the serial number to be updating itself. So say minus role. Now, when we do this, it's going to ask for the reference, like I said. The reference is the serial number. Yeah, that's the unique identifier. Now, what you're going to do at this point, you're going to lock this fully. If you don't lock this fully, you notice that when we dragged it before, okay, it was not showing us the updated serial numbers. It's because we did not lock it. So that we did not lock it. And that's what we call the absolute referencing. Okay. So I'm going to log this using F4, and this is it. So when I bracket close this, and then I click on enter, it shows me 1. So if I drag down, it's going to fill it for me from 1 to whatever number you have. Now, if you don't want to drag it down, you can push this thing here. I call it angry rabbit. It has an anger problem. Okay, whatever you command it to do when you've automated, it does it. You can see it brings it down. But this does not answer our problem. I told you that part of the steps you must follow, you must understand the types of analytics that we have. Because now we are looking at prescriptive analytics. What should we do? That's what we are looking at. What should we do? Because we have defined the problem. We have identified the available data. We have seen the gaps in this data. Okay, we have cleaned this data, but now we want to prepare this data. We're not talking about modeling yet. We'll talk about that. We have 6 minutes to go, so we must be fast. Now, what do we do? Prescriptive, what do we do? Where we said that if, for example, we delete maths, this is what we did, okay, using this formula, this function to automate the serial number. So at this point, if we come and say we no more offer arts course, we no more offer arts course, we no more offer arts course, of course, our list of courses. This is our list of courses. If, for example, we say we no more offer arts course, we want to delete it. You will notice that if I delete this, what happens? Can someone tell me what happens? You can see that the serial number did what? Updated itself immediately. If I say let me delete maths, okay, if I delete maths, the serial number updates itself immediately. Why? Because it has been automated to do that. So ladies and gentlemen, data preparation is something you must not miss. You must make sure you automate your data, you clean your data, you prepare your data perfectly. Also modeling, I said before, modeling is very important. Now, what is a model? When we talk about model here in data analytics, it is just a simplified description of a system, okay, which you use to assist your different predictions. So if, for example, we have these calculations or we have the former, which we did using the VLOOKUP, you know, you need to create a model to be able to have a good interaction, a good flow, you know, trying to bring meaning to your work. And it's very important that you do that. So in this class, it's part of what you'll be looking at. So there are a lot of modeling tools you can use. Okay, the two popular one is what we call Python. Okay, maybe a lot of you have heard of Python. So Python is one of those tools you use. You know, it allows you to build your models when you want to make predictions. So don't forget, Python is one modeling tool that is very good when it comes to modeling. And we have another tool we call the arrow. In this class, we'll still touch some of these things a little. But in the class, the major focus is the aspect of Excel, the aspect of Tableau, the aspect of SQL, and also the aspect of that of Power BI, which is important, but I will touch something in Arrow. Just I don't want to confuse some persons who are just starting their data analytics section. So this is very important. Then we have the aspect of evaluation and deployment, which has to do with evaluating how will these models perform. Yes, you build your model. Now, how will they perform? How effective is this model? Are we prepared to launch this model? Questions like that comes under the life cycle aspect of evaluation, which is very important aspect that you must put into what? Consideration. So ladies and gentlemen, it's very important for you to do what? To take note of. It's very important for you to take note of. Now, let's look into the tools. Now, before we look into the tools, we have what we call big data. Okay, so big data, like I told you, big data is very important because you're working with a large set of data. So big data is so large that it is going to require you to come up with a lot of sophisticated tools, sophisticated techniques on how you can be able to run your analysis, which is very important. So here in our training program at Miramore, we guide you to ensure that at the end of the day, you are a certified user of these applications of tools. Okay. Now, the popular tools out there.
I have a question to ask.
Okay, go on. I can hear you, sir.
Sorry, sir. Where is the office?
We're in Lekki, in Lagos State, Lekki.
Okay. Because I will have preferred a one for myself.
Okay, we can talk about that.
I don't know
talk
how.
about that later.
Okay.
Okay, sir. All right. So looking at the popular tools, what are the popular tools out there? What are the popular tools out there that can actually use to, you know, expedite your tasks? What are they? Okay, we have the Microsoft Excel, and it's a popular one. So Microsoft Excel basically is one of those tools you use when you want to explore or analyze your data set, but it looks into small data sets because there are data sets that are so large. But when you're working with a data set within your coverage, you use the Microsoft Excel. It allows you to analyze or to explore those smaller data sets. Then we have another popular tool which has to do with the Tableau or the Tableau. So the Tableau has a substitute, which is Power BI. So we have what we call data visualization, which has to do with how can your data be presented. Okay, how can your data be presented? Maybe you want to present your data to your senior colleague or the head of your department. Now, how can that data be presented is very important. Okay, so it's very important that you understand that. Then also, we have the Python. The Python has a substitute, which is Arrow. Okay, programming language Arrow. So it allows you to build models to make predictions. While when it comes to visualizing your data and dashboard, you use the Tableau or the Power BI. We have the SQL, which allows you to communicate and interact with databases. And that's a structured query language. And as a data analyst, you must know how to use this. Okay. Now, what are the careers in data analytics? There are careers, and that's more reason why you should give this a good shot. For example, we have the business analyst. Okay. So as a data analyst, when you're done with our training, eventually you'll become a business analyst. And if you go and search for latest jobs with good pay, you'll find out that these jobs are out there. They are the top jobs both in Canada and foreign countries, and a lot of persons are earning well from this. Okay, so some of the common career line is the business intelligence analyst. We have the analytics manager. We have the data analyst. We have the data scientist, and different areas of what you can actually fit into the aspect of technology, maybe business aspect, also mathematics. These are all what relevant, and these are all what important for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are expecting you to register for this training. For those who have not registered, for those who are watching, who are viewing, those who are viewers, try to register, enroll for our program, and definitely we are going to take you from scratch to finish on all you need to know. As for the applications for the softwares, once you register, you will get them from us, and we are expecting you to not just download the software, which we'll send to your mail for you to get in touch with. You can get a cool drink each time it's time for lecture. Our lectures is properly structured. We have it 3 days in a week, where we have Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's all. And it's held for 1 hour, 30 minutes. Of course, it's an interactive section. You can see how this goes. You can see we have a lot of tutors who will be coming in to teach, and they are all well experienced. For my name, I am Williams. And of course, we're expecting by the time you're done with this training, it's definitely going to be added to your resume, and it should be giving you a good time for you to practice. Classes will hold by 9 p.m., 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. And as we proceed, we might reduce it to just 1 hour to ensure that you get value for your money. So remain committed. I want to thank you for joining us. For those from Ghana, we want to thank you. Those persons, there are some persons from Kenya. Of course, we'll be sharing these videos to everyone who are also not present. So thank you very much, and see you registered for our training. Thank you, and God bless everyone.
Thank you. God bless you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.